Are you looking for the best gimbals for mirrorless camera? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best electric scooters on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. DJI RS3. DJI started out as a drone manufacturer, but the overlapping technology meant that they had a huge head start in pioneering the gimbals that are popular today. They're without a doubt the most prolific gimbal manufacturer today, and their gimbal offerings cover every corner of the market. The DJI RS3 is their latest standard gimbal offering designed with mainstream cameras in mind. This includes smaller APS-C bodies like the Fujifilm X-T4 and full-frame hybrids like the Sony A7 IV. Chunkier cinema cameras like the BMP-CC 6K or Canon C70 aren't officially compatible. And if the kind of camera you have, then you'll have to spend extra for the DJI RS3 Pro. From build quality to usability and stabilization performance, the RS3 is unmatched at its price point. It is technically the direct successor to the highly praised DJI RS2, but it manages to improve in several areas. Most notable is the introduction of automatic axis locking, which basically means there's no need to manually flip switches on individual arms when the gimbal isn't on. Instead, simply power it off and watch the RS3 do its thing. Another huge usability improvement over its predecessor is wireless Bluetooth control, which means you don't have to physically tether your camera to the gimbal, using a cable to be able to control the camera via the gimbal's controls. Other key improvements include the replacement of the basic 1-inch OLED display on the RS2 with a pretty 1.8-inch OLED color touchscreen, as well as the improved third-gen stabilization algorithm. According to DJI, the third-gen algorithm results in a 20% performance improvement over the RS2's Titan stabilization algorithm. Number 2. DJI RS3 Pro. While the DJI RS3 is recommended for most buyers, the DJI RS3 Pro targets 2 specific groups: those with bigger camera setups and those with specific shooting needs. The biggest draw of the RS3 Pro is definitely the ability to support 50% heavier payloads over the standard model, as well as physically bigger bodies and longer lens barrels thanks to a longer extension arm. All this is made possible with fairly minimal increase in the weight of the gimbal itself because the RS3 Pro's body is constructed from carbon fiber as opposed to the aluminum alloy used in the standard RS3. When it comes to Pro features, the RS3 Pro can be used with the optional RavenEye image transmitter, as well as an optional LiDAR rangefinder. Both accessories yield improved autofocus performance, with LiDAR unlocking the full ActiveTrack Pro. The RS3 Pro also benefits from faster charging compared to the RS3, as well as RSA ports for extra accessory compatibility. It's worth noting that the RS3 Pro isn't only worth it if you own a bigger camera like a BMP-CC 6K or Red Komodo, or if you need the Pro features. It also provides those with normal-sized cameras more flexibility and peace of mind when it comes to using additional accessories, e.g. microphone and bigger lenses. Overall, the DJI RS3 Pro is a fairly straightforward upgrade to the RS3, but just make sure you'll actually take advantage of its more powerful motors or professional features. Number 3. Zhiyun Weebill 3. Alongside DJI, Zhiyun is the other big name when it comes to gimbal makers. Over the years, they've proven themselves to be a worthy competitor, although their innovations tend to be rather hit or miss. While the Zhiyun Weebill 3 is a great gimbal for mirrorless cameras, it is unfortunately overshadowed by the aforementioned DJI RS3, which is just a better gimbal in almost every regard. Strange design decisions across the board ultimately amount to a disappointing gimbal. The grip is slightly small and uncomfortable to use, even for those with average-sized hands. The primary controls are located to the left of the grip, immediately excluding left-handed shooters. The gimbal uses proprietary plate instead of the Arca Swiss Quick release plate used by the DJI RS3. All these small nuisances just aren't a problem with the DJI RS3. The RS3 also deals 2 major blows to the Weebill 3 by having wireless Bluetooth control, not necessary to physically tether to the camera with a cable, and auto-locking. The Weebill 3 does, however, have small winds of its own. Zhiyun claims it can last up to a whopping 21 hours on a single charge, which is 9 hours longer than the RS3. It also has a built-in mic and a built-in fill light. However, the mic and fill light are gimmicky in nature, solving a problem that never really existed. Some casual vloggers may appreciate these features, but both are better replaced with something that does the job better. Number 4. Gudsen Moza AirCross 3. The AirCross 3 has some interesting features, but the construction isn't as solid as the DJI or Zhiyun offerings. Gudsen might not be as well known as DJI or Zhiyun, but they've survived long enough to prevent the market from becoming a duopoly. The Moza Air and Air 2S were great gimbals in their time, and while the Moza AirCross 3 isn't perfect, it's a solid gimbal that has a few neat tricks up its sleeve. The standout feature is its transformability, which lets you hold it and record in 4 different configurations. These include the classic one-handed grip, underslung grip, two-handed grip, and an extended mode with the optional Moza Slipod sliding monopod. The AirCross 3 is also foldable, folding down to the size of an A4 sheet of paper. There are plenty of foldable gimbals on the market, but the AirCross 3 does fold down to more compact dimensions compared to its rivals. Unfortunately, the timing of the AirCross 3's release was rather unfortunate, as the RS3 was right around the block. The AirCross 3 feels rather dated by comparison, and it also doesn't benefit from the more developed ecosystems or superior software of DJI and Zhiyun. Number 5. Zhiyun Crane 3S. One area DJI has missed is a gimbal that supports very large cinema cameras. The RS3 Pro is its flagship consumer/prosumer gimbal, and while it can accommodate popular cinema cameras like the BMP-CC 4K/6K, it can't support the likes of Sony FX9 camcorder. That's where the Zhiyun Crane 3S, with impressive 14.3 pounds, 6.5 kilograms maximum payload, steps in. Zhiyun designed the Crane 3S as a small gimbal for big cameras, meaning it's a 3-axis gimbal that can be used in professional cameras that are typically stabilized with much more complicated rigs and vests. Of course, Zhiyun also made sure to offer plenty of clearance between the mounted camera and gimbal arms, so you simply won't have trouble balancing even the heaviest setups. What might surprise you is the cost, which is actually less than that of the DJI RS3 Pro and closer to the price of the Xiun Wei Bill 3. The reason it costs less than those two is that it's a fairly unremarkable, bare-bones gimbal outside of its motor torque and balancing power. You don't get a fancy touchscreen or the carbon fiber construction of the DJI RS3 Pro. With its aluminum construction, the Crane 3S ends up being over 2 times heavier than the RS2 or RS3 Pro.